Alright, we're going to give Mardu Aristocrats a shot here. Lots of tap lands, but also a lot of cards that we want. Got the Butchers, Defectors, and Instigator. Hopefully by the time we get to turn 4, we'll have a Butcher. This deck is very synergistic. Not sure if it's as powerful. Well, definitely not as powerful as the old version. I don't think, but it's getting there. So we're against Goblins or Mono Red. A Goblins deck top-aided yesterday at the SCG Open. Even without Goblin Pile Driver, which isn't quite in the format yet. A Dragon Fodder. So I think this might be the Goblins deck. This is basically what it looked like. Trying to play Foundry Street and do a bunch of Goblin tokens and winning that way. Good news is Butcher is a nice way to potentially win a race. So we're going to play Humble Defector here. Bloodfell Caves. So the idea with Humble Defector is, assuming, say we draw an untapped land, we can play Butcher, activate Humble Defector, and then use Humble Defector to draw cards and then sack it to Butcher. Since we are not sure if we're drawing lands, though, I think we're better off just blocking this Foundry Street Denizen. Our opponent Titan Strength's a Goblin token. Okay, so we're down to 15. But our opponent only has 1/1s. Well, now I guess we play Bloodsoaked Champion and another Humble Defector. During Instigator is a better blocker, but it doesn't do a whole lot at the moment. He doesn't have any targets that are too tempting to steal. So we're going to take 4 here, unfortunately. Still would like that untapped land. Hordling Outburst, so even more tokens from our opponent. There's an untapped land. Alright, so now we can play the Butcher of the Horde. And I think we just leave it on defense for now. We don't really want to double sack. The one weakness to this is Stoke the Flame. If our opponent has Stoke, we're kind of in bad shape. Otherwise, Butcher should help us clean up this mess. So we get to block, sack Bloodsoaked Champion, give it lifelink. Now we can activate Humble Defector to draw cards. And then in response to its trigger, we sack it to Butcher to give Butcher a lifelink. So we get 2 cards, get lifelink on our Butcher. Another Butcher, Sultai Emissary. So I think we're playing Bloodfell Caves. And Sultai Emissary. And I think we're just going to play Face Up during Instigator. Then we're going to sack Bloodsoaked Champion to give our Butcher life or Vigilance. We already gave it lifelink. Give it Vigilance. So I get to get in with Butcher, hopefully gain back a bunch of life. Yep, so we're up to 17, and now we have Butcher on defense, and we still have 2 more in our hand. So even a Stoke doesn't really just beat us now. Our opponent just really has a hard time attacking because we gain so much life from the Butcher. But our opponent will attack. So we get to block 1, block a second one, and then we'll sack the Emissary to give Butcher lifelink and take nothing. And get a Manifest out of the deal. We get a Murderous Cut, which is fine. We didn't really want to draw that anyway. So we take nothing there. Now we can think we Flame Lake Phoenix and play the second Emissary. And then we can sacrifice Emissary for lifelink. What do we get this time? A swamp. And then I guess we just sacrifice Jeering Instigator for vigilance. Nice thing about Flame Lake, when you do, it's horrible, or not good. It's not horrible, but it's not that good when you don't have Butcher, but with Butcher, automatically turns on lifelink and still gets in for damage. So yeah, let's go to game 2. As you can see there, still don't have a sideboard for this deck. This is literally, I put this deck together this morning, and I think we can keep this. Put it together this morning, and have been playing a couple matches to try to get a sense of what sideboard cards I really want. So the sideboard is a work in progress. Also trying to test to see if this framework is even acceptable. Like, can this work? So far, results have been mixed. I've only played a couple matches, so I really can't say much so far. It is sweet, though. It is sweet. And this hand is super sweet. Lightning Berserker. Oh, so this isn't goblins. This is just Atarka red. Alright, so we're going to take our 1. And then I think... I think we're going to play Emissary here, because that's a guaranteed blocker on Berserker, even if our opponent kills it. Sultai Emissary looks so bad, but it actually performs pretty well in combination with Butcher. Sort of the Doom Traveler of this deck. I built this deck. I looked over Tom Martell's list from a couple seasons ago, the Aristocrats list, and tried to basically make it as similar as possible, given what we have in our current standard. So now I think we go with Temerat, since we don't have an untapped land. It's a better blocker than Humble Defector. If we had an untapped land, I might try Humble Defector so we could go with the Butcher combo. But if we don't draw an untapped land, then we're going to play Humble Defector next turn and Butcher the turn after. So we'll just pass again here. We don't really mind our Temerat dying, so we're okay with blocking with him if necessary. One thing that's scary is there could be an Atarka's command coming, and that represents a lot of damage. Alright, Wild Slash Temerat. So we can still block things. Well, our opponent's just going to attack with the Swift Spears, which is fine. We go down to 14. Another tap land. So we'll play the Bloodfell Caves here. Follow it up by a Humble Defector. And then next turn, assuming we don't just die to an Atarka's command, which is a distinct possibility, then we will start playing Butchers and hopefully take over the game from there. Hordling Outburst, okay. That's acceptable. We can deal with that. Let's see how our opponent decides to attack this time. If he attacks with just Swift Spears, I think we might... No, we'll leave it. We'll take 4. We want to leave as much fuel for our double Butchers as possible. Oh. Well, if our opponent's attacking with those, then I think we definitely kill a token, just because that makes Atarka's command a little bit worse in the future, if that is on the radar. That's a swamp. So now we just play Butcher. Butcher comes down, play another Scoured Barons. Our opponent only has 2 cards. Hopefully neither is Stoke. Stoke is still very bad for us. Zergo, that is fine. Our opponent swings with everything, so we are going to... that probably means Atarka's command, right? So I guess no, we can let that... I think we just we'll block a token and block a Swift Spear. Yeah, we'll do it like that. So it's Atarka's command. Titan Strength on a Swift Spear. Okay. So do we sack for lifelink? We're taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, potentially 7. We'll let it go. We're down to 5. Opponent has no follow-up, which is good. Jeering Instigator. Alright, so we definitely have to play our second Butcher. And then I think we're going to draw with Humble Defector, sack Humble Defector. For haste, I guess. Play a second Humble Defector and just ship the turn, I guess. Can't really attack. We can't sack enough to give vigilance and lifelink, so we really just need to sit back with our Butcher. Maybe sacking the Humble Defector there was too greedy. Let's see what our opponent has in store. Lightning Berserker, I don't think that just kills us. Opponent swings with everything, so we... Let's see, block a Zergo... No. We block Lightning Berserker, block a token. We want to keep at least one creature alive if we can. I think that's the right blocks. And then we can sack Humble Defector for lifelink and still leave our Manifest alive. Assuming Atarka's command isn't the last card in our opponent's hand. Opponent goes with Lightning Strike at our face. So we know what the last card was, but I don't think that just kills us. Because we get to sack Humble Defector to give Butcher lifelink. And I think we basically break even. 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh no, we do die, don't we? Oh, we go to 1! Oh, alright. We are staying alive, just barely. Bloodsoaked Champion's not bad. So how do we do this? You don't want to just die to a burn spell. So you play Outpost Siege. So you play Outpost Siege on dragons. We play Bloodfell Caves to go up to 2. And then play a face-up Jeering Instigator. And then I guess we pass and hope our opponent doesn't draw a burn spell off the top. As long as it's not a burn spell, we're fine. If they draw a burn spell, alright, no burn spell. I think we got there. Because now when we sack creatures for lifelink, we're also picking off creatures, which makes it way better. No attacks. Alright, so now we can start to combo off a bit. Play Bloodsoaked Champion. Sack Bloodsoaked Champion for lifelink. Shoot down Lightning Berserker. There's the combo. So Butcher gets lifelink. We get to attack with Butcher. Return Bloodsoak. No. Alright. We don't need to do that yet. Attack with Butcher. Puts us up to 7. Then we get to return our Bloodsoaked Champion. And then I think we just sit on this Mardu Charm. We could have kept sacking our Bloodsoaked Champion, returning it to deal more damage, but since we do the Mardu Charm, I think it's better to hold that because we can make 2 blockers, if need be. Our opponent is doing what? Opponent goes with the all-out attack. So we are going to block a Monastery Swiftspear, block a token. Our opponent has a sideboard Plummet. So I think we sack our Bloodsoaked Champion to kill a token. Our Butcher is going to die, but that's okay. Actually, maybe we need to do this too. We cast Mardu Charm to make 2 tokens. Then we sack one of those tokens to deal 1 damage to the Swiftspear, so then it is going to die to the Instigator. Doesn't matter. Okay. So when this is all said and done, basically, I should have done that the other way and saved the 2 damage. Oh well. It still works out in the end, but we take 2 extra damage this way, unfortunately. And then Outpost Siege triggers, we kill that. So in the end, we're left with a Manifest, which is a basic land, the swamp, and a token. And we draw another Mardu Charm, which is solid. So we'll get in with our creatures. We can bring back our Bloodsoaked Champion. Then we can sack Bloodsoaked Champion to bring Temerat back from the graveyard to our hand and deal 1 damage. And then we can cast Temerat. This way we still have a blocker in case our opponent plays a haste creature of some type. The Titan strength for no value is kind of pretty frustrating, I'm sure. Oh, well, that pretty much does it. We get a Butcher of the Horde off the top. We get to sack a token to give it haste. And that does it. Sweet! Aristocrats getting there.